I'm Bryson DeChambeau, and I am the golfing scientist.
When I was growing up, I always thought that I'd do something cool in the game of golf. I didn't know what it would be. Now that I see this, I know that.
So it was a business decision, first and foremost, and that's all there was to it. It's given me a lot more opportunity.
The internet absolutely lost its mind when the news broke. Bryson DeChambeau, one of the biggest names in LIV Golf, supposedly demanded a staggering $280 million extension. And LIV, they turned him down flat. Within hours, the rumor mill went into overdrive. People started whispering that Bryson was done with LIV, that he was plotting his escape back to the PGA Tour the second his contract expired in 2026. The golf world split into camps overnight. Some fans celebrated, thinking the prodigal son would finally return home. Others called him a traitor all over again. But here's the thing. What if everything you heard was completely wrong? What if the real story buried beneath the headlines is so much wilder than anyone imagined? Because when you start peeling back the layers, when you dig into what Bryson actually said and what insiders are quietly revealing behind closed doors, you realize this isn't just about money or loyalty. This is about the future of professional golf itself. And the clock is ticking louder than anyone wants to admit. It all started on a random Tuesday in February 2025. A small podcast account, the kind with maybe a few thousand followers, dropped what they called breaking news. The post was simple, but explosive. Bryson DeChambeau had refused to re-sign with LIV Golf unless they handed him a contract extension worth $280 million. And according to this account, LIV looked at that number, laughed, and walked away. The post didn't come with sources, didn't have any official confirmation, didn't even have a shred of evidence backing it up. But in today's world, none of that matters. Within minutes, the thing went viral. Golf Twitter erupted like a powder keg. Mainstream sports outlets picked it up. YouTube channels started pumping out reaction videos. Everyone had an opinion, and nobody bothered checking if any of it was actually real. The narrative wrote itself perfectly. Greedy golfer demands insane payday, gets rejected, plans his exit. It was too juicy not to believe. Fans who never forgave Bryson for leaving the PGA Tour in the first place saw this as karma coming back around. They flooded comment sections with "I told you so" energy, convinced that LIV was finally falling apart from the inside. Others saw it differently, arguing that Bryson had every right to chase the biggest bag possible after revolutionizing his brand and turning himself into one of the most watchable players on the planet. The debate raged on for weeks, and through it all, Bryson stayed silent. He didn't tweet, didn't post, didn't address the rumors swirling around his name. And that silence, it only made people more convinced the story was true. But then, March rolled around, and Bryson finally broke his silence at the LIV Golf event in Hong Kong. A reporter asked him point blank about the headlines, about the supposed contract demands, about whether he was planning to bolt back to the PGA Tour when his deal expired. And Bryson, he just smiled, that cheeky, confident grin that's become his signature move over the last few years. Then he shut the whole thing down with the kind of clarity that left zero room for interpretation. He said the rumors were completely false, that he had no intention of leaving LIV, and that he was fully committed to his team, Crushers GC. But he didn't stop there. He went deeper, talking about something most casual fans don't even know exists. Bryson owns a 25% equity stake in his team. That's not just a salary or a signing bonus. That's ownership. That's a piece of the business, a slice of the future. And when you own part of something, walking away becomes a whole lot more complicated. Insider sources close to the situation backed up his version of events, confirming that the $280 million figure was completely fabricated. Nobody involved in the negotiations ever mentioned that number. It was pure fiction, cooked up by someone chasing clicks and engagement. Yet despite Bryson's denial, despite the lack of any real evidence, the rumor refused to die. People wanted to believe it. They needed to believe it because it fit the narrative they'd already built in their heads. So what's the actual reality of Bryson's contract situation? Let's break it down. When Bryson signed with LIV Golf back in 2022, he walked away with a deal worth at least $125 million, possibly more depending on who you ask. That contract runs through the end of 2026, which means he's locked in for about another year and change. But here's where things get interesting. Recent reports from people who actually know what's happening behind the scenes suggest that negotiations are already underway for an extension. LIV wants to keep him. That much is clear. But the structure of these new deals is changing in a major way. Gone are the days of massive upfront signing bonuses that made headlines around the world. LIV is shifting toward performance-based contracts, deals that reward players for actually winning tournaments, driving viewership, and building their brands. For someone like Bryson, who just won the US Open in 2024 and has become one of the most marketable faces in all of golf, this kind of structure could actually work in his favor. He's not some washed-up veteran coasting on past glory. He's in his prime, playing some of the best golf of his life, and his YouTube channel is pulling millions of views every month. That's value you can measure, value you can build a contract around. But it also means LIV is being smarter with their money, not just throwing blank checks at anyone with a recognizable name. And speaking of players reconsidering their choices, let's talk about Brooks Koepka for a second, because his situation might be the real canary in the coal mine. In early 2025, golf legend Fred Couples dropped an absolute bombshell during an interview. He claimed that Brooks Koepka, one of the original big names to jump to LIV, actually wanted to come back to the PGA Tour. Now, Fred didn't provide receipts, didn't name his sources, but he said it with enough conviction that people started paying attention. And when you look at Brooks's performance over the last year, the cracks start to show. His world ranking, which used to sit comfortably inside the top 10, has absolutely cratered. We're talking a drop of 114 spots throughout 2025. For a guy who built his legacy on dominating major championships, he's suddenly missing cuts at tournaments he used to sleepwalk through. His game looks shaky, his confidence seems rattled, and the whispers are getting louder that maybe, just maybe, LIV hasn't been the career boost some players thought it would be. When reporters asked Brooks about the rumors, he gave cryptic non-answers, the kind of responses that don't deny anything, but don't confirm anything either. And that ambiguity is doing more damage than any straight answer ever could. Because now, people are wondering if other LIV players are having second thoughts too. Are contracts that seemed like no-brainers 3 years ago starting to feel like golden handcuffs? Is the money still worth it if you're ranking tanks and you can't compete at the highest levels anymore? But here's the thing about Bryson. His situation is nothing like Brooks's. In fact, Bryson might be the only LIV player who's actually benefited from the move in every possible way. Let's rewind for a second. Back in his PGA Tour days, Bryson was one of the most disliked figures in professional golf. People thought he was arrogant, robotic, too obsessed with the science of the game to connect with fans on a human level. His beef with Brooks turned into a full-blown media circus that painted him as the villain in every storyline. But then he joined LIV, and something wild happened. He transformed. Not just his image, but his entire personality. Suddenly, Bryson was smiling, joking around with fans, posting goofy content on social media, and building a YouTube empire that's brought him closer to the average golf fan than any PGA Tour press conference ever could. His channel exploded, racking up millions of subscribers and views that translate directly into sponsorship deals and brand partnerships. Then came Pinehurst in June 2024, where Bryson won the US Open in one of the most dramatic finishes in recent memory. That victory didn't just cement his place among the game's elite, it completed his redemption arc. People who used to hate him were suddenly rooting for him. And all of this happened while he was playing for LIV. So why on earth would he leave? The lifestyle LIV offers him, the freedom to build his brand however he wants, the ability to focus on long-term projects like golf academies and global expansion, none of that exists on the PGA Tour. He's not grinding through 30-plus events a year anymore. He's playing less, earning more, and having way more fun doing it. Now let's zoom out and talk about the elephant in the room that nobody wants to address head-on. The merger that was supposed to fix everything. You remember June 2023, right? When the PGA Tour and the Saudi Public Investment Fund, the financial powerhouse backing LIV Golf, announced their framework agreement, it was supposed to be the end of the war. Lawsuits would be dropped, trash talk would stop, the sport would heal and move forward as one unified entity. Except none of that actually happened. 2.5 years later, there's still no concrete deal. no signed contracts, no clear path forward. In April 2025, reports surfaced that the PGA Tour flat out rejected a $1.5 billion investment offer from the Saudis, just turned it down. Why? Because the Tour is trying to negotiate terms that let them maintain control while also accepting the money they desperately need to compete with LIV's spending power. It's a mess, a complete stalemate, and caught in the middle of this corporate chess match are the players, guys whose contracts are set to expire in 2026 and 2027 with absolutely no clarity about what comes next. Do they re-sign with LIV and risk being shut out of major championships forever if the two sides never reconcile? Do they try to negotiate a return to the PGA Tour, even though that might mean giving back signing bonuses or facing suspensions? Nobody knows, and that uncertainty is driving some players insane. So why do these rumors about Bryson keep popping up if they're not true? Because there's a bigger game being played here, and it's not happening on the golf course. Traditional golf media has an agenda. They've been hostile to LIV from day one, and they're not exactly hiding it. Every chance they get, they'll run a story about LIV struggling, about players wanting to leave, about the league failing to gain traction with fans. Some of it is legitimate journalism, but a lot of it is just noise, speculation dressed up as reporting to generate clicks and keep the narrative alive that LIV is doomed. Then you've got social media, which amplifies everything times 1,000. A random account tweets something with zero evidence, and within hours it's been shared, quoted, and reposted by people who never bothered checking if it was real. That's how the $280 million rumor spread like wildfire. It fit the story people wanted to hear, so they ran with it. Meanwhile, Bryson is out here actually building his future. In December 2024, his Team Crushers GC signed a multi-year sponsorship deal with Reebok, one of the biggest apparel brands in the world. He's talking about opening golf academies, expanding LIV's global footprint, and using his platform to grow the game in ways the PGA Tour never allowed him to. None of that sounds like someone planning an exit strategy. Here's what it all comes down to. Bryson DeChambeau isn't going anywhere. Not now. Probably not in 2026, when his contract technically expires. Maybe not ever. Because for him, LIV isn't just a paycheck, it's freedom, it's ownership. It's the ability to shape his career on his own terms without answering to a system that never really appreciated what he brought to the table. But the fact that these rumors keep circulating, that people are so quick to believe them, reveals something deeper about where professional golf actually stands right now. The sport is fractured. There's no denying it. And as long as the PGA Tour and LIV remain locked in this Cold War with no resolution in sight, the speculation won't stop. Players will keep getting asked about their futures. Fans will keep arguing about who made the right choice. And contracts expiring in the next couple of years will force everyone, Bryson included, to make decisions that could define the next decade of the sport. Will golf finally reunify under one banner? Or is this split permanent? Will LIV prove it can survive long-term without a merger? Or will financial realities force everyone back to the negotiating table? And what happens to the players who bet their entire careers on LIV if the whole thing falls apart? These are the questions nobody has answers to yet. But one thing is crystal clear. Bryson DeChambeau is playing the long game. He's not panicking. He's not demanding ridiculous extensions or threatening to leave. He's building something bigger than any single tournament or tour. And whether you love him or hate him, you have to respect the move. Because while everyone else is stuck fighting yesterday's battles, Bryson is already thinking about tomorrow. The $280 million rumor was fake. But the stakes, those are very, very real.